Welcome, everybody, to Spirituality Adventures. This is a non-judgmental place to explore spirituality, and we're so glad you're here. This is a viewer and listener-supported podcast, so we greatly appreciate your support. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, share, and subscribe to any of the social media content platforms that you're using. And then if you go to our website, spiritualityadventures.com, you can make a one-time donation, or with a monthly subscription, you'll gain access to our bonus content. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome, everybody, to Spirituality Adventures. We're glad you're here today. We have Tory Campbell as our guest today. Tory is a business owner, artist, creator, choreographer, dancer, and former bartender.
Yes.
There you go. So thank you, Tory, for joining us on Spirituality Adventures.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's jump into your story. Where were you born? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Kansas City, Missouri. I was born in Smithville, lived in Gladstone most of my life. We moved to Riverside in my middle school years, and parents still live there. I live out south now in Raytown.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, bought my house in Raytona Beach.
Raytown.
Yeah.
Wow, but a Northlander.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Oak Park High School.
Okay.
Yep.
I was a Park Hill guy, 30 years before you, so.
They didn't have Park Hill South yet, so it was just a Park Hill, yeah.
Yeah, no Park Hill South, right.
Yep. Played against them a lot.
Yeah?
Yes.
Like, what did you do in your junior high school years? What were you into?
I played, in middle school, I played volleyball, basketball, and then I ran track. And then in high school, I played softball, basketball, and I ran track.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you do in track?
I was a hurdler.
Okay.
A hurdler, and then in the Kansas meets, I did the javelin because they thought I could throw since I played softball. So they just threw me in that event. Yeah.
So say the sports again you did in high school?
I did softball, basketball, and then I ran track.
Man, an athlete.
That was my life.
All around.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. But how about basketball? Tell me about basketball. That was actually my favorite sport.
Yeah.
But I was short and just not that good.
Yeah.
And it kind of bummed me out because my dad was like a college basketball player,
Mm-hmm.
And I had a basketball in my hand since as young as I could remember. And I still watch basketball with my dad. I still go to the NAIA tournament with him in town. We still watch. We're big KU basketball fans. Mm-hmm. And, I graduated from Baylor. Mm-hmm. Baylor won the national championship for the first time in 50 years just a year ago. Not this past one, but the year before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, basketball's a big thing for me.
Yeah, basketball, my family on my mom's side was all athletes. My grandfather played basketball. He won a national championship when he played. So he taught me. Softball was my number one because my mom put me in that first, and then basketball was later, but I picked up basketball real quick.
Were you point guard? Forward?
So I started, I hit 5'9" in middle school, so they thought I was going to be a giant, but I stopped growing at 5'9". So I was a post player, and then when I got into high school, they were like, oh, hey, because everybody was taller than me, mm-hmm. I had to learn how to be a point guard, and that was fun.
Okay.
But eventually kind of found my... I was point guard, and then when I got up to varsity, I was basically like a forward shooting guard. Okay. College, I was a shooting guard.
You played in college?
Yeah, I played softball and basketball in college.
Really? Mm-hmm. Where'd you go to college?
I started at North Central Missouri College in Trenton. It was a 2-year.
Okay.
Because I didn't, I could have gone Division I, but I didn't want to sit the bench. So when they offered me a full ride to play 2 sports, I was like, I can play both. I was like, yes.
So was this a D2 school?
It's like an NAIA. It's like a community, a smaller one. Okay. So my goal was, go there, do really well there, and then go to a Division I after that was the plan.
Yeah. So how'd that turn out?
Did not turn out the way that I thought it would. 3 weeks into my freshman season, I blew out my knee, and I'm a catcher. I was a catcher. So that was really detrimental to me, and I did not handle it very well. So it kind of sent me in a nice downward spiral after that.
Yeah.
Because my whole life was sports, and then I get to the point where I've been wanting to go my whole life, and basically it's taken away from me.
Oh God, that sucks.
Yeah. It was not easy on me at 18 years old. So I've
had multiple times in my life where an injury kept me. So so I could have gone on track scholarships to Maryville and other places around here, but I really wanted to go to Baylor because of my pastoral career track, and Baylor was a school I wanted to go to. So I didn't have a scholarship to Baylor, but I stayed active in running. I was marathoning all the way through my 20s, or running, some through my 20s. And then I had a snow skiing accident, walked with a limp for 2 years, went through 3-4 knee surgery, and I kind of in a funk, depression. And then my most recent one was this one. Yeah. So I can relate to where if something like that happens, it's can put you into a downward spiral for sure.
Oh yeah. It was not a good time in my life.
So did you end up finishing college, or did that?
I didn't actually. I was holding on to the dream of, playing all 4 years, and I was young enough at the time to get re-recruited, to play in the summer and get re-recruited. And I went to UCM in Warrensburg, and I played there for a season. I wasn't making the best choices for myself, and I was doing everything on the field. I wasn't taking care of my schoolwork, and I ended up getting kicked off the team and came back home and went to Penn Valley and accidentally got noticed and got a basketball scholarship to Penn Valley, and then I played there for a year. Then followed a significant other to Topeka, Kansas, of all places. And we were living really close to the campus, and I would see the softball team practicing, and I walked onto Washburn softball team and played for them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you must be good, man.
I think that was the hardest part for me. Not only the emphasis put on, because my mom, they knew I was going to go to college on a scholarship, so we put a lot of effort and time and money into the sport. I mean, I was always traveling and playing and doing that sort of thing. So when that gets taken away, and now all of a sudden I'm I thought I wanted to try out for the Olympic team in 2008, and I blew my knee out in 2007.
Wow.
So my mental capacity at that time was just all over the place, and we're a family of drinkers, and so me turning to other things to cope, I just wasn't. Finally at 22, I was like, okay, I'm not going to be a professional athlete, so I should probably stop trying to waste money going to college right now and figure out what I wanted to do.
So did in that period of time, did you have any faith background at all, from growing up to this point where you finally figured out you weren't going to be an athlete? Was there did faith play a role at all?
I had a really bad experience, because my mom always said, so when she was younger, she was forced to go to church, and she didn't really like that. She's from a small town though, so it was a very different dynamic. I'm really thankful that she moved to Kansas City, because I'm not a small town person. But she wanted to, her and my dad decided, when I was in middle school, that they wanted to start going to church. And so I really enjoyed going to church because, I'm meeting new friends, and, we're going on Wednesday nights, like youth group, we're having fun, we're doing like the fun stuff, and we're, and I was really enjoying it. Mm-hmm. And then, so they have the FCA, in high schools, mm-hmm. like you can be a part of the FCA. And I decided I wanted to get involved, and they were looking for like leaders. And I was like, okay, well, to be a leader, because I'm not afraid to lead a conversation, or, you know what I mean? I'm like, to be a leader, do you have to like know the Bible really well? And they were like, no, you mm-hmm. can pick your passage and you can, we can talk about it. Mm-hmm. And like, that's the point. So I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a FCA leader. And I emailed my youth pastor, and he emailed me back and he said, I'm not Christian enough to be a leader in that sort of space. And it really threw me off, because I was just like, aren't you supposed to be like, yeah, be more, walk more in this way, or, I don't know, I just wasn't, and threw me off. And then I found out that because we were missing church on Sundays, even though we were coming on like Wednesdays and other days, we were missing church on Sundays because I had tournaments, and the church was like coming down on my parents for that.
Oh, wow.
A lot of parents thought that was wrong. And I was like, who are you to tell, it just didn't really. So we left, because I was very upset actually at the reaction that I got from my youth pastor, and then even more upset when I found out that they were like coming at my parents like that. Yeah. So that kind of just turned me away from, I just felt very judged. Right. And I don't think you have to go to church to have a faith. Yeah. So I've never really thought that. I mean, I do love the community, but mm-hmm. I love any kind of community, any loving community. I love that. Yeah. So that was what turned me away. So I really just, after that, I'm not much of a prayer. I believe that things happen for a reason. I believe that timing is a thing. I believe that there's,
like synchronicity.
Yeah. I just think that, I'm very mm-hmm. much like, things kind of happen, you can obviously like change your projective, but you have to, I believe in those kind of things very much. Yeah. So there wasn't really at that time, I was definitely dealing with it all just like in my head, and there was no like out source of.
So when you face this big transition at 22, like your world of sports is ended basically. Yeah. Where did you go to within yourself or within, your community that like caused you to move? How did you move forward from that spot?
Well, when I first started having the issues, I've always been a dancer. So I started teaching dance. It kind of shifted me more to, because even with my knee injury, I could still dance and do, I could still teach and perform and do those kind of things. So through that time, I was still doing performances and doing those things. So it just kind of shifted me more in that direction.
Okay. So like, are you a trained dancer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had taken dance classes since I was 3. So I'm trained in like, tap, jazz, ballet, modern, even some light ballroom styles like flamenco. Like Sweet. I've taken a lot of different,
Wow. See, I can't dance. And am I too old to learn?
Nope, you're never too old to learn. Never too old. And I believe I have seen somebody go from no rhythm to work. It just depends on how much you work at it. I'm telling you, I believe everybody can
Now, my
dance.
Sisters love to dance. I have 3 sisters, and they just love to dance. And they're always trying to pull me onto the dance floor. And then I'll try, but it's ugly. It's like, remember the Will Smith movie, the Date Doctor thing? I can't remember the name of it.
Hitch or something?
Hitch, yes. You remember the white dude in there that
he
tries to teach to dance? And that's me. I'm like, white guys can't dance, man. I don't know. At any rate.
I understand.
But I still have hope.
You should.
Like in the mirror by myself, I think I'm great. Yeah. But
but dancing is all about, I love, one of my favorite things is when if I'm out somewhere and I see somebody just in their own zone, like just having a good time.
Whether they're good or not.
Yeah, whether they're good or not, they're just like, I'm enjoying myself, and I love that.
And I've heard women say that too, like that. Like even my sisters say that. Yeah. They say they don't care if a guy can't dance if he goes for it and has fun. Yeah, they love that. Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I suppose I just need to realize that's me, and I just need to start going for it.
Yeah, just fully, accept who we are.
There's a couple of times where I've done that, but like not in Kansas City. Yeah, where I think somebody's going to know me.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
I still struggle with it. I mean, even though I'm a dancer and that's what I do, like on the spot, I still am like, oh my God. Like if somebody's like, do something right now, I'm like, what?
Like I wish I could dance like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
But it's not happening.
I understand. I grew up, I mean, in the dance world, like back when I was coming up, especially when hip hop started becoming more popular, where I lived at the time. I mean, it was, white people couldn't dance at all. So for me to be able to dance, I was getting a lot of like, where are you from? And so that's when the nickname came out, because I always used to blame it on, I'm Canadian, so it must be my Canadian side. That's why I can dance. Mm-hmm. And then I got a lot of hate for it as well, because a lot of people were like, oh, you're trying to be black, or you're trying to be, and I'm like, because I can dance. So it was really weird because, people didn't see it, so people thought it was cool, but then there was a lot of people that were just like, you're trying to be, this and that.
So you could do hip hop freestyle kind of stuff. Is that, I don't know if that's the right term even, but.
Well, yeah, like my strong point is choreography. Like I love creating and delivering like a piece. Mm-hmm. Freestyle is probably my least favorite, because I think in choreography.
Okay.
So freestyle is free. You know what I mean? You're just moving to the music. And like when I'm by myself, I can do it. Mm-hmm. But when eyes are on me, I start thinking too much because I want to be in choreography mode,
Yeah. So like talk about the choreography and what some of your projects you've worked on, some of the things you're maybe most proud of, like, and what style of dance are you known for, like in your choreography world?
I'm known for hip hop. That's what, that's pretty much all I've done. I've worked with a ton of artists around Kansas City.
Give us some names.
I mean, I've worked with Tech Nine. I've worked with Chris Calico. Back when the GS Boys were kind of popular, we shot a video for them. I actually opened up for J. Cole and K. Michelle before like J. Cole was like blew up really big. It was in Lawrence at the Granada it was the 2003 Music Matters tour. So that was really cool. Doing that opened a lot of doors for me, as far as like I met quite a bit of people that I still kind of know. I mean, I know a lot of people in Kansas City, but like some of the environments that I've been in, it's part of the reason why I work pretty closely with like Chris Calico. Now we did the rain dance video when Mystical.
We need to get some of these people on my podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure Chris would probably love to. Absolutely.
Write this down, Matt, because we'll hit him up.
And he just
I'm trying to get. I want to go for Tech Nine too. Actually, I have a couple of people that know him that think that they can connect me to him. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I definitely know. I mean, I'm there. Chris and Crystal are like family to me now. Like we've just gotten so close. And yesterday, or I think it was yesterday, the day before, they just celebrated because when they broke off from Strange Music, they started his own label called Ear House.
What is it called?
It's called Ear House.
Like your ear, like Ear House.
Yeah, like Ear House. Okay. And so he has his own label and he's making his own stuff and he's like going out on his own, and I'm so excited for him. We just recently did a speaking concert where he's talking about mental health, and because that's something that he's openly struggled with and talks.
Oh wow, I really need to interview him then.
Yeah, I really think Chris would be a fantastic interview.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. He's definitely helped me. Crystal's like a mentor to me. If I'm ever like going through, she's like definitely, if you talk to her, it's like automatic, like calm down. She has that like vibe all the time. And I'm just like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
Cause she does the job of like so many people, cause she manages Chris, and then she's also, they have 2 kids and so it's just, she's like a power woman. Yeah. I don't know how she does it and stays so calm.
Does she have, well, we can, I can get her on or him on.
Yeah, both of them would be a fantastic.
Right.
Would be a fantastic interview.
Yeah, cool. All right.
But yeah, so
you're choreographing, doing choreography for hip hop, and mostly locally here in Kansas City.
Yeah, I've done. Some of my favorite things to do, I work really closely with the LGBT community. I've worked with Casey Sunshine. He in the Midwest, Michael Jackson. We started performing together. Gosh, I want to say I was maybe 19 or 20 years old. So we do pageants together. We've won titles together. I've worked with Widow Von Du, who was on RuPaul's Drag Race. We've won some titles together. Regina LeRae, who was Miss Gay Missouri, I can't remember how many years ago, but we won that title together. So I've done a lot of traveling. I've done a lot of really fun things like with that community. I love performing at Pride. I love that community.
Yeah.
Like I have so much fun, and their creativity and people think drag queens are like, just men that dress up as, I'm just like, literally the things that they do, they dressed me up as a drag queen, and I was doing it for a fundraiser. And so I had to do what they do and lip sync and then go around and take tips. And I'm like, I have a whole new respect for what you guys do. I was like, this is not easy to do what you do. Yeah. So, yeah.
And it's so fascinating. All that I've gone through the last 3 years, one of the things that I've found so thankful for is that the LGBT community, some people I know there have been incredibly kind and gracious to me with all that I've gone through. And certainly there was plenty of room for people to judge me, and Absolutely. All that kind of stuff. And, I just got a lot of love and grace from that community, and have developed I had some relationships in that community before, but I'd say some of those relationships have grown really deep here in the last few years. You're
getting love from a community that needs to love right back. You know what I mean? Because they understand what it's like to be judged. And I try to be, I'm a very open person. I love, I don't judge anybody based on their lifestyle. I never have. And I just think that you're not putting harm onto anybody else by loving who you love or being like who you want to be like. Yeah. So
well, it's a lot of fun. One of the guys that I connected with here in Kansas City that's become a good friend is Calvin Arsenia. I don't know if you've bumped into him or not. So he's an African American guy that is not in the hip hop world musically. He's a musician, but he plays a harp.
Oh.
And he does amazing work. He can do guitar and keys, but his main instrument is the harp.
Well, that's fun.
But he can make that thing sound like a guitar. He can make it sound angelic. He can make it, and he loves to. He's gay and he loves to dress up in all different kinds of ways. Some of his videos are amazing. You guys should hook up a little bit, even though it's not Listen,
I'm
not
open
in the
to all.
world.
I played the cello, so I love all strings instruments. I love music. My dad's a musician, so I love. I have a little bit of both sides, so I love anything music.
Yeah. But yeah, fun stuff. There's a drag queen in Ireland that, and I'm blanking on her name. It's Panty. She goes by Panty something. I forgot the full name of it, but I ran across, there's a gal I know, Dana Masters, who's an African American jazz singer who lives in Ireland, and actually who's a backup singer for Van Morrison. Oh, okay. Yeah. And but she did an interview with this gal in Ireland, this drag queen in Ireland has a real famous podcast in Ireland. And she had done an interview with my friend Dana Masters, and it was so much fun to hear them dialoguing and talking and all that kind of stuff. But
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, so I thought, that'd be fun to get some different interesting people on here,
Gotta keep it interesting. I love people. Well, most of the time I love people, but I like getting to know different people that aren't like me, because I love people's stories.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're also you live in this creative world, like you own your own businesses, 2 or 3 different businesses that you own? One?
Well,
2?
right now I'm actually trying to, we're getting ready to announce the merger. The company is 3 women. It's a women-owned company called Avenue Blue. So it's coordinating event planning services, but we're trying to create a dream team of an all in-house, anything you would need for an event, we have it here.
So is this connected to the event thing that's I saw on Instagram that you have called, what is it, a la carte something?
Party a la carte was I'm merging the Party a la carte with Avenue Blue.
Okay.
Because just getting into this business, I'm learning that, I've always been creative, but the business side of it and just kind of understanding more into it, having a team is really important. You can be as good as you want by yourself, but I think even people that are good by themselves, they have a team, that helps them. So having these women with me that we work really well together, me being able to take my company, the a la carte is basically I love to be crafty. And so, if I need to build a greenery wall, or if you want a donut wall or something, I love to be able to make that. My mom's famous phrase is, I can make that. We always, growing up, she would make my Halloween costume. She would make, she was really crafty herself. So I always joke around with her, and I'm just that's you, Alice. I'm I can make that. So I'd rather
give me an idea. If somebody does an event, you're thinking of a wedding, a birthday party, a shower, those kind of events.
Yeah, anything. If you can think any event, we do absolutely 100%.
What's your sweet spot for an event? You come in and do what?
So with the way that the team works Ashley is our organization queen. She is one of the most organized people I've ever met in my entire life. It's almost intimidating to somebody like me, but she kind of elevates me to be better with that. Lexi is our in-house photographer, and she has a background in interior design. So our 2 minds together, we just go to town when it's time to, kind of figure out the decor or kind of what they're going for. And then me, I'm I did it. I tapped it.
No, you're fine. Just don't do it again.
we gotta cut it. And I am I definitely have the vision, and then I'm the one that's when it's go time, it's go time. I'm really good at adapting in pressure situations too. If something needs to be figured out, I'm okay, I just kind of step into that role really easily. So the 3 of us having those skills, it's a dream team. It's really nice to work with people that I can trust, because that's the hardest part about a business, and trusting other people to do, what you would do, because obviously it being your company, you want that to be a representation of yourself. And so having 2 other women that, and the other women that are underneath us, with other services, I just feel we're going to take over the world. So somebody picks an event space to have their event, and you go into that space and you create the design, basically the event space design, set design, interior design, the theme. Do you follow a theme typically? It would range. So if you had a scale of 1 to 10, so you have maybe you have somebody that comes and is I have no idea what I want to do, but this is the event, and I need to kind of figure out what. That would be full on planning services. So we're coming in there and we're helping you get all your vendors, all your everything. We're doing every single thing along the way. And then you can have even you be connecting people to catering and all that. We have people that we can connect you with in every part. And also, making those kind of relationships with other local businesses. We love obviously working with local. We want to put more money in the pockets of the people that are in our community. There's room for everybody. There's so many events that gets thrown. There's so many things and there's a lot of planning companies, but there's room for everyone, so it's we're going to help. We just want to keep those positive relationships so that, if somebody needs extra help or they are booked one day, they send them our way, so you have the one where you do the full, and then you can go all the way to the other side where you meet with somebody and it's this is what I want.
Okay.
like this is a theme, this is what I want, and then we make it happen.
Okay.
So there's a wide range of, it just kind of depends on the personality of who's throwing it.
Yeah.
My favorite is when we get to come in and like, they're like, this is kind of what I want. And they just kind of let us go to town. But I love being able to deliver like visions.
Yeah. And what are your top 3 types of events that you usually do?
So when we are doing this merge, so Avenue Blue was originally, a group of 3 women. One ended up leaving to go elsewhere. So they were more in the wedding world. Okay. Me, I'm more, because of what I do. I was more in just like events, like baby showers and grand openings and things like that, because of the people that I know.
Okay.
So now merging, now we're trying to, I don't just want to be weddings. I don't just want to be, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Right now, our top booking is weddings.
Okay.
Day of coordination services. Right. That would be our top. And then we're working on, we did an event for, Chris Calico let us do his, he had this speaking concert. And so we were able to come in and like create his VIP area for him and stuff. And so that was really fun.
Okay.
But weddings is definitely our top right now. We definitely get booked for weddings.
Yeah. And so for events, they're going to come to Blue Avenue Blue. Sorry.
Yes. Avenue Blue KC is like
Avenue Blue KC. Mm-hmm. All right. And then like where do they go to? Like if somebody is wanting to choreograph, do they just know you personally, or do you have another business for choreography stuff?
So Avenue Blue, the idea is like, that would fall under the a la carte services. So if somebody's looking for, like I do first dance lessons, like I'm working with a couple brides right now, for just so that they kind of know what they're doing on their first dance.
Wow.
So it's just kind of incorporated in that. I mean, honestly, in that world, as far as the choreography world, people do know me, so they do reach out to me personally for that.
Okay.
But as far as like with the events and stuff like that, let me choreograph a flash mob. I'm ready to do it. I just need somebody to book me for it, because I love it. I love the surprise. I love people having fun. People always have a good time when they do things like that. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you're doing all of your work under this new banner then?
Yeah. I feel like we set it up to where it's not like, now that we're all a team, it's kind of like we can keep it a little bit more organized. Okay. Organization is one of my weaknesses, because I am a very like bam, 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 bam person. Mm-hmm. So I'm super thankful for Ashley, because she is helping me kind of work with these things. So.
Yeah. But you like to paint in your free time. You like to do crafts. You like to create, visual space presentation, like almost interior design. You like to choreograph hip hop. Where does all that creativity flow from? Where does that come from in your world? How do you access that? Is it something you just don't even think about? It just comes naturally, or is it something you've cultivated?
I think I've always been creative. I've always been exposed to that as well, because of the way that I grew up. My parents, my parents couldn't be more opposite. My mom is a small town, like sports, like, type person. My dad is from Canada, musician, left home at 16, and that's what he did for his job. And how they've been married for 6 years, something like that. Don't know.
Yeah.
But I think I got a really great balance of both of them. Obviously, with the emphasis was on sports in the beginning of my life. Mm-hmm. Some parts of me wishes I would have maybe tried the art world. Because I played the cello, but I had to give up the cello to play sports, because you couldn't do both. Mm-hmm. But then later in life, getting to tap into my more creative side has been really fun, because I just love it. I love being in any creative space. Like Tech always jokes around when he sees me, because I always have a huge smile on my face. Like, and he's just like, he calls me CBZ, and he's like, CBZ's always smiling. And I'm like, yeah, because you guys are putting me in my element. Like, I love being able to come and do this kind of thing. And So, being able to do it as like a career for the rest of my life when I hadn't, I'm more like, obviously I want to make money, but my mental health and my happiness is very important to me.
Yeah.
Because I struggled majority of my life. So now we're taking steps to make sure that mental health is like it's definitely like top 3 priority.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's cool. Well, it's been interesting because like, I never really saw myself as a creative type. I always thought about musicians and, dancers, performers, artists, those kind of things. Like pastors, not so much, but then I read a book years ago called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. And he had the idea that everybody's creative. And it was a simple little book. In fact, I could give you a copy before you leave today, because I bought boxes of these and gave them away to people in my church because I thought, this is cool.
Yeah.
He had 10 simple things about how to stir the creativity in you. And I think it was at that point that I started realizing that, and this is kind of how I see spirituality and creativity almost the same stream. Mm-hmm. And I say spirituality broadly is like connection to self, others, and something greater than you, whatever that is, something transcendent, and so I don't know, creativity seems to flow into people from places they're not sure of sometimes, like, where does this come from? Well, I mean, it's within them, but some people almost feel like they channel it sometimes, it's almost like, so, you think about, like even in the Bible, the first story is about creativity, creation. And so then if we're made in the image of God, then aren't we co-creators in some capacity, and so then I bumped into a book recently by a gal named Julia Cameron called The Artist's Way. And her book actually came out in the 90s, and I don't know why I never found it, but I never did. But she was a gal. She used to be married to Martin Scorsese.
Oh, wow.
She was huge. She wrote for Rolling Stone. She was a scriptwriter. She was in kind of the movie and theater world, I guess. And an author. But then she had to go through recovery herself. And so then she kind of applied the principles of recovery to blocked artists. And then she wrote this book called The Artist's Way. And I didn't realize it's gone all over the world. It's influenced millions of people. The gal that wrote Eat, Love, Pray said that would never have existed if it weren't for Julia Cameron's book. And,
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Elizabeth Gilbert is it. And anyway,
it's probably a book I would read.
She's influenced, she's helped people become creative all over the world. Yeah. And if you read her stuff, it's like you see where spirituality and creativity kind of almost like the same stream, And so I started seeing my recovery as a creative recovery, and it's been kind of fun that way. And I realized the way I mashed up, like when I would teach something from the Bible, I'd mix it with pop culture, I'd mix it with history, I'd mix it with, music, and sort of mash up a talk. And I realized that the way I did that was creative, and the way I tried to build community was creative, and the way I love nature was creative, and that's all a big part of my spirituality as well. So when I talk to artists, and I don't know, I like to kind of explore that. Where does your creativity come from? Where does it flow from? How do you nurture it? Do you ever feel blocked? Yeah. If you feel blocked, how do you unblock it?
Yeah, that's something that I try to take myself away from it when I blocked, because I mean every artist or creative has had a block before, and I think it's just me trying to overthink it, and so I try to get away and like go do something completely else and then like come back to it. Kind of like when I'm overthinking a situation, or overthinking something, I try to just be like, okay. I tell my kids when I'm teaching them, I'm like, when they're trying to do it too hard, I'm like, quit thinking about it. I'm like, let's move on and we're going to come back to it. Because sometimes it's really just, because your mental has such a huge capacity to like take over your emotions and like what you do with your body and with a lot of different things. I mean, that's why I think like mental health is super, the tie between emotions and how we react because of these emotions. And people are just like, oh, well, stop thinking like that. Well, it's a very powerful hold when you're, dealing with this up here.
Yeah.
So I definitely, it's like kind of like you need to quit thinking about it, like take a step back and then like come back to it, because I've had blocks a lot.
Yeah. Well, let's talk, because the other thing I think about creativity as a sort of a spiritual path, but I also think about mental health as a spiritual path, because that's self-awareness. It's learning self-compassion. It's learning, how to overcome your past hurts and wounds and all those kind of things. And like, so to me, even that mental health journey, is a spiritual journey as well. How did you just said it was like one of your top 3 things.
Oh yeah.
How did that happen? How did that come about?
It was really just the environment that I was in and all the bad choices that I made in my 20s. I was drinking a lot, and that is how I cope with things, because I'm a social person. So I'm a social coper is what I call it. When I'm dealing with things, I wasn't, I was raised to keep it in. The first thing you show your child when they start crying and you tell them to go to your room is, I don't want to see your emotion. So that was how I kind of grew up. So I was always like, okay, well, we're tough. Like, we just kind of push it down. So when I don't want to deal with that, I go around people, because I'm a really good masker of how I feel as far as if I'm struggling. Now, my facial expressions, if I don't like somebody or something like that, is a little different. But when it's something that I'm struggling with in here, I, would drink. And being a bartender for 12 years, I would drink a lot. There was a period of my life where I was probably drinking 6 nights a week. Some situations I put myself in, I don't know how I'm still here. I got really lucky. I think, unfortunately, I got in trouble with the law, drinking and driving. I thought I was the best drunk driver ever. I got a felony attached to my name, which has affected my path in life, because I at one point wanted to go back to school and be a teacher, but where I want to teach is not going to hire a felon. So I kind of hit this point, and it was the people that were surrounding me, because it was like, oh, Tory's so much fun. Like, I'm having this great time. I'm feeling like these people are my friends, but then I start going through all my stuff, and I can't go out all the time, and I can't do this and I can't do that. And I started really seeing like, I don't have any friends. Everybody just likes me because I'm fun. And I had to really take a hard look at the people that were around me. And I connected with some people that really started making me take a look at the things. I will say it was affecting my relationship. And I started pulling back on the drinking, and I started going through these, like, my friend Tina she's a master's in nutritional science, and she lives a holistic lifestyle. And so I started kind of listening to the things that she was doing and getting into that. And it was a lot of self-awareness. It was a lot of taking time. It was a lot of, started going to therapy. I swear by therapy. I think that everybody could do good from therapy. And I just really started trying to take the accountability for myself, like for the ways that I was coping, because I was always making excuses for it. And all the things that I struggled with, and, ruining my career. And that was like, I have a lot of like emotions towards that, but I'm, learning how to be okay with it, if, so it's a constant battle. I mean, it's an active choice to do that. And at any point it's almost like at any point you could relapse and go to a bad place. So it is an active choice every day to try to take the steps and do the things that are going to keep you going in that positive direction. Yeah,
that's good. What, when you went to therapy, do you know what therapy model that your therapist worked out of? Was it a particular type of therapy? Like, like there's cognitive behavioral therapy, and there's internal family systems, and there's DBT, they call dialectical behavioral therapy. There's a lot of models out there, and some people just use a blend of things. And
I probably want to say I don't know if it's like a specific style. One of the reasons why Tina was actually the one that recommended the therapist, and I decided to go. I really liked the vibe. Like, she's very, very free spirited, and I like that. Like, I didn't want to go to, and you see like on the movies and like when they go to their therapy, I'm just like, I don't want to be in that kind of setting, So it was a house in Westport that they have their offices in, and it's a very relaxed environment. And I just really, she wouldn't take insurance clients because she said that that was the hard part, was the money, because it's, therapy is not cheap. And she said that she doesn't work with insurance clients because she wants to work with people that really want help. Because sometimes insurance clients, like, they have to do it for like their divorce or their whatever they have going on. And so she's like, I want to work with people that really are seeking like to make themselves better, which I like. I don't like as far as the pocketbook goes, but
right.
She's definitely, her name's Lily Dawson. She's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's been a part of my journey for sure. And, I've worked with a couple of therapists over the last 3 years, and yeah, I recommend it for everybody. Absolutely. And I do think that, learning, how to frame up your past, how to look at your hurts, your disappointments, how your past has influenced the way you relate to people, the way you relate to yourself, the way you relate to, something that's transcendent. All of that plays into our health, our spiritual growth, our becoming, the best person that we can be. And so that's been a huge part of my journey as well. And I see that as part of a spiritual journey as well. I think people who have gone through that process of, they just learn, they grow, they learn about themselves, they become, they deal with their own stuff better, but they also relate to other people in a healthier way as well. I think so. Yeah, I see people all the time that I, used to run with or know. Because like I said, I've been all over, like either between bartending or performing or, working with different people. I know quite a few people in Kansas City, and I just see some people that I'm just like, they're just stuck in, this, it's like a cycle for them. And it is an active choice that you have to make to take a look at it and make changes, because I could probably sit in that same, I could be a career bartender and everybody can, I could do all these things but it would just put me right back in like a toxic spiral for me. So changing, retiring from the bar and going into, Avenue Blue has really been helpful, because both of the girls that I work with, they, mental health is important, and we all recognize that. And so it's important that we have that same that's belief system. So I like it. I like it. Yeah. So how do people connect with Avenue Blue? Where do they go to?
They can, so we have a Facebook, we have an Instagram. We also have a website, avenuebluekc.com. Okay. So it's pretty simple, message, we respond, we have, email. But yeah, our website is up. I think they always have the link on there. I just got onto all the social medias, so I'm learning because I'm technology challenged.
Yeah, me and you both, right? I need all the help I can get. So. Yeah.
But, yeah, we're pretty easy. We also, if somebody's like interested in maybe like what we have to offer, because we do have quite a bit to offer. We always offer, if somebody wants to set up like a 30-minute call or a Zoom or even meet at a coffee shop, because I think part of it is also the personal connection you make, because, with what we do, I think it's important with, the client it'd be very easy to talk to. I can usually tell pretty quick if like it's not going to be a good fit, you know, but so we offer those just so we can kind of get a feel, and they can they can ask any questions that they want and kind of get a better idea for what we do and what they need.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little, because my audience knows Matt. Yeah. And you were before we got going on this interview, you were telling me about a project, how you met Matt and how you and this. Tell us about that. That was kind of fun to hear.
Matt is probably the coolest person I know. We met when our paths crossed on a collabed photo shoot for my dance team, and former friends of mine, clothing company. He had like a lot of retro clothes, and so he did the photography and the videography for that. And then I had a last minute project come up for the Chiefs and Fox 4, and I was like, oh my God, who can do this? And so I reached out to Matt and I was like, listen, because it was all coming out of my pocket and I'm nowhere near, I'm going to get there. We're getting there. But at the time, I mean, it was like so last minute, and I was just like, listen, I need help. And he was like, listen, let's do this. I'm excited. Let's do this. So he was on board with being the videographer for this. It was basically like a Chiefs hype video. So we took Red Kingdom, and then it's called Big League by OT Genesis. And then at the time, it was Chris Calico's new song called Run It Back. And so since that was kind of the vibe for the Chiefs that year, Run It Back, we mixed all that together. We had 3 rehearsals, 2 hours apiece, if everyone showed up. Union Station let us in 6:00 in the morning. We all had to be there because we had to shoot everything before the general public came in. So it was very high pressure situation. And Matt was just like, okay, what shot do you want next? Let's do it. Okay. Yeah. He just like the whole day, everything went probably as good as it could have gone, with the exception of me forgetting a scene that we needed to shoot. So we had we got it there. We did it, and that's what I'm saying. We did it, and I
think we should drop that video in.
I absolutely, because if you knew all the work that went into it, all the people that gave me their time and their effort, and Matt was like, I'm like, listen, we need it by this time. Yeah, I'm just like, I can't remember what time we were on the phone, and I'm
to get there. We got to Union Station, or I got there to do drone footage outside at 5.
Yeah,
and then the news station needed it by 12:30 in the afternoon. So it was like a couple hours turnaround.
Yeah, literally. And it was just the fact that he did it, and the shot, even that shot, my favorite shot is at the end when you got the lights coming off on Union Station. I was like, I can't. I was like, I swear, I'm always like, anytime I have a project or whatever, I'm always like, I always recommend Matt, just because I appreciate people that I explained to him, because I try to be a very transparent person. I like to be upfront, because if it's not going to work for you, just let me know, and then, I'll move on. But he's always like, yes, let's do it. He loves to work on passion projects, and, and he just cares, and he's really easy to work with. Mm-hmm. He takes, he has his vision, and I respect, because he's the one with the camera, but then he takes my vision that I'm kind of seeing, and he just, he pulled it together, and that video for it was fantastic. So
yeah, and for videos, probably how many minutes was that?
A minute? I don't know. It was a minute.
Well, so
a little over.
Yeah.
Chris's part was, I think, right at 70. It was a little over a minute.
Uh-huh.
But the whole thing together was 2 or 3, wasn't it? The whole routine.
Something. I've got it. Yeah, I've got it on here.
But people who haven't worked behind the scenes on a video like that, don't realize
there's so much work that goes into
those things.
It's definitely just for a couple of minutes.
For that.
We barely made it work.
Yeah,
we barely did. I was free. Listen.
I
went to snooze afterward, and I had, I don't know how many breakfast shots, because I'm like, we're done. We're done with this.
Oh, man. Well, cool
but it was
stuff.
great. It was fantastic. And then Chris asked me, it was really cool. He wanted to use the portion that we shot for the Run It Back. He wanted to use it as his official video for it. So
that's awesome.
that was pretty cool too. I was pretty happy about that. Yeah.
All right. Well, man, thanks for joining us on Spirituality Adventures.
Yeah,
thanks for all the fun, creative things that you do in Kansas City and how you make all these events go so much more beautifully. It's
to be fabulous.
Great stuff.
If you're going to give me opportunity to think big, I'm thinking big.
Yeah.
We're going to be extra.
That's fun. That's fun. All right. Well, thanks, Tory, so much. And people can connect with you at... What's your website again?
It's avenuebluekc.com.
Avenuebluekc.com. Thanks for joining.
Or on Instagram, avenuebluekc, same thing.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Spirituality Adventures, and we'll see you next time.
Kansas City! You ready? You ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Welcome to the Red Kingdom. Yeah. Red Kingdom. Welcome to the Red Kingdom. Yeah. Red Kingdom. Welcome to the place where we run it. Place really haunted by number 58 is DT the Great, and we've run it. Hate and we shun it. No competition, the opposition fake. I don't think they really want it. Loud is the recipe. Loud sitting next to me, no doubt. Now we are proud that we get to see KC Chiefs come and break these geeks, make them taste these cleats. Welcome to the Red Kingdom. Yeah. What? I'm in the big league, yeah, the big league. I'm in the big league, yeah, the big league. My problem ain't your problem. My problem ain't your problem. I'm in the big league, yeah, the big league. I'm in the big league, yeah, the big league. My problem ain't your problem. My problem ain't your problem. Run it back. Okay. Hey. I knew it, yeah, knew it. They told me to run it back, I know how to do it. They told you to line them up, run it right through it. I'm going in. Run it back. Run it back. Hey, we did it. Hey, we did it. They told me to bring it home, and I'm about to get it. They told me to lock them down, and didn't I did it. I'm going in. Run it back. Run it back.
This concludes today's episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember to like, share, or subscribe to the social media platform that you're using. And then go to our website, spiritualityadventures.com, and make a one-time donation, or you can subscribe monthly and receive our special bonus content. Thanks so much.